Picture an exotic, mid-engined Italian sports car, and you're probably thinking of a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Lancia Stratos. But in the early 70s, Fiat decided that that idea should be accessible to the everyman, and the result was the X1-9. The question is though, is this often derided classic sports car a poor man's Ferrari, or just a poor relation? Well, I'm going to take this Bertone X1-9 for a drive today and find out. The idea of a small mid-engine Fiat sports car actually dates back as far as 1969. It was an Auto Bianchi concept called the A112 Runabout that was designed by Bertone under the late great Marcello Gandini. And it was powered by a Fiat 128 engine, so they just took humble mechanicals and placed them in the middle of this fantastically exotic, stylishly designed mid-engine concept car. And it looked epic. It was incredibly well received, and Fiat bosses decided there was mileage in this needed to go further, much like the weather needs to improve today. So the development continued, and Fiat already had a name in mind. By this point, they had a naming convention for their concept cars. X0 was given to prototype engines, and X1 was given to cars. And being that this was the 9th car under that naming nomenclature, the name X1-9 was chosen. Already, it looks cool and it sounds cool. We're off to a good start. So after that initially successful Auto Bianchi concept, Bertone was told to revise and refine the design for production. And when you see the finished product, it looks absolutely epic. It's got a real wedgy, aggressive style to it, and if you look at it through the bottom of a beer glass, there is something of a Ferrari 308 about it, don't you think? Fantastic looking little thing. It really is exotic, it's striking, and even today, driving it around, this little red mid-engined Italian sports car, it gets attention, it gets looks. People are impressed, and they're surprised when you tell them it's a Fiat. So Bertone would actually produce the body, but Fiat would then put the whole car together and put the engine in it. Initially the 1.3 litre engine from the 128, but with an alloy head, a twin-choke Weber carburettor and higher compression, and that would get it up to 74 brake horsepower. Now 74 horsepower isn't much in 2024, you get that in a Kia Picanto these days, but with a little revvy engine in a tiny, compact, lightweight, low-seating Italian sports car, you put your foot down. Whoa! It really does feel nippy, it's eager, zippy. It feels great. It feels more than some of its parts, like so many Italian cars do. What's more, the engineering was kept simple and therefore cheap. McPherson strut suspension is simple and dependable at the front end, and that meant that your normal garage could work on this exotic mid-engine sports car. But that didn't compromise in any way how much fun the X1-9 was to drive. The steering feels fantastic, it's light, communicative, it's not power assisted, but it doesn't need to be. There's no weight over the front wheels, don't forget, and it's got a fantastically agile turning circle. I've been flinging it around this industrial estate with the gay abandon of someone who's been driving these cars for years. It gives you so much confidence because even if you really fling it around, you're not going fast enough to get yourself into any trouble, even on these wet roads like we're on today. It feels great, actually. It's nippy, it's fizzy, and it's got pop-up headlights, which means whatever you're doing, even if you just drive into the shops, you've got a smile on your face. And even after Fiat had stopped producing the X1-9, Bertone opted to keep building it under licence, and indeed the later ones, like this facelifted car here, are badged Bertone X1-9 rather than Fiat. So actually, these cars kept going long beyond their estimated life, because frankly, there was nothing else like it. On modern roads where you're being dwarfed by massive honking great SUVs, the X1-9 is a breath of fresh air. It feels so diddy and compact. And yet, you're not squashed into a cramped little Japanese K-car interior, because the X1-9 didn't just look special and exotic from the outside, it looks special on the inside. You've got these nicely bolstered leather sports buckety seats, this lovely chunky sporty leather wrapped steering wheel and this sort of aluminium effect gear knob, this little Bertone badge on the dashboard here. Simple little touches that added up to a very special feeling car. Not to mention, because the engine is right there behind me, oh, put your foot down and you can hear it rasping away. It's tremendous fun. And it was well priced as well. The X19, despite its exotic Bertone styling and its hilarious fun driving experience, was £300 less than a Triumph TR7 or a Lancia Beta. So it was affordable, stylish, fun, and it made you feel special. Small wonder then that Fiat sold 160,000 of these things. Unfortunately, it did suffer from Lancia Beta syndrome in another way, because yes, it was cheap and cheerful and lightweight, but oh boy do these things rot. The reliability is so-so, and to be honest, maintenance of that mid-engine isn't actually as bad as you'd think, but the metal is paper thin and it'll rot if you introduce it to the idea of oxygen. Not to mention, you put it in a UK climate and you can measure the lifespan of most X19s in days. Alright, that's a little bit exaggerated. As a result, the vast majority of these cars rotted away within 10 years, and genuinely these cars were failing MOTs when they were barely out of the warranty period. We mock British Leyland cars for rusting away quickly, and frankly, they deserve it, but the X19 is very much deserving of the old reputation of Italian cars not liking the idea of anything other than a dry climate. Not to mention the Targa top roof, which does feel fantastic on a nice sunny day. I wish we had one of those for you, but again, another source of leaks where water gets in and rots the floors out. But Fiat didn't let that reputation for rust put people off the X19. It continued to evolve. The 1.5 litre engine, like this one, was introduced in 1979. It got a 5-speed gearbox to improve its touring ability, an electronic ignition to improve its reliability and the engine's smoothness, and a little bit more power as well. People continued to buy the X19 in their droves because there was nothing on the market quite like it. Nothing that offered this blend of exotic styling, a revvy, exciting engine, sharp, nippy handling, and an affordable price tag and practicality that meant you really could use it every day, provided you didn't need back seats or a decent heater or rust proofing. The X19 is a great example of how Italians build cars. They take simple, workaday mechanicals, make it dependable, and make it fun at everyday normal speeds. This might not be a Ferrari 308 or a Lancia Stratos, but get it on a nice little twisting country lane, and preferably on a dry day, and you don't care, because it is so much fun and it's so eager and it's so peppy that it puts a smile on your face, and then you look down and you're doing 27. The fact of the matter is, in this video today, I've had a huge smile on my face. I'm having a great time today, and yet I'm actually driving around an industrial estate in Ashford. So, is the Fiat X19 a poor man's Ferrari then? Well, it's 10% the price of a contemporary Ferrari, but for me, it's 110% of the fun.